Oh, it's rough. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Sewing Machine Adventures. Yeah! I'm thinking of starting like a new theme song for the series. Did we think it was fun? I hope so. That was the debut of the Sewing Machine Adventures theme song, and I hope everyone enjoyed it, otherwise I'll be devastated. And anyway, last time I tried to make some gloves, which didn't particularly work very well. Where have I even sewn? What is that? Oh no. Oh, I've just realised as well I've sewn it the wrong way. However, based on that video, I felt like I actually learnt a lot about how a sewing machine operates and the kind of inner workings of a sewing machine. And I also learnt a lot from your comments too. So today I thought I would keep it far more simple, and I'm going to try and make some cushions with a zipper, and I'm also going to make the actual cushions. So I'm going to make the cushions, the cover with a zipper, and I'm going to make 2 of them.
You're spoiling us, Jenny.
And I think this should hopefully be easier than making a pair of gloves. It has to be. The gloves were really hard. As a couple of people pointed out in the comments, I think where I went wrong with them gloves is I didn't actually even cut around the gloves. I just cut like a blob and then tried to kind of sew in between for some reason. I didn't even realise I did that until someone commented saying that I'd done that, and then I watched it back and I was like, I think that's what happened. I think that, among other things, is where I went really wrong. But a cushion should be a piece of piss. Okay, so I thought I would start out with the inside of the cushion part. And I've just bought this very plain, what's it called, muslin? Like cotton. It's almost like a canvas material. I think this will be nice for a cushion, won't it? I googled what cushion insides were made out of, and this came up, so I was like, alright, I'll just do as I'm told. So, what I'm wanting to do is measure, because this is the zipper, this is the size of basically what the cushion's going to be like. So I want this bit to be a similar-ish size, and then I can stuff it into the cushion. I think I'll make my cushion a little bit on the smaller side just in case. And also what I bought is these things, the fabric chalks, because the pen I used last time was shite. I couldn't see what I was doing. So hopefully with these little chalks, it'll be a lot easier for us. Right, so let's have a look. How much? I've bought a lot of this. Why did I think I needed so much? I always buy stuff and buy too much because I'm like, oh well, I want spares just in case. But like, really, did I honestly need this much? I don't think I did. I'm gonna have to cut this down. Why? How many meters of this have I bought? How many cushions did I think I was making? I'm also gonna cut it from the side of the fabric because I know someone got upset with us for like hacking away at the middle of the fabric.
You asshole.
Which, to be fair, I would get mad at myself too. So if I just take it from the side, then I don't waste as much fabric. Just roughly for now, I'll cut it from there. Wasn't that satisfying? I bet everyone thinks I know what I'm doing. Because that was like proper serious textile person would do something like that, wouldn't they? Just like rip through the fabric and like, yeah, I know my shit. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So if my cushion's going to be that big, oh, I feel like such a seamstress. I'm taking this series very seriously, if you can't tell. I'm buying chalks and all the right equipment. I am not pissing about because I want to get good at sewing. That's the whole point of doing this series. So if we think about that as a cushion, we're going to want it to be a little bit small. I'm going to think about there and then possibly there. Oh my god, I've snapped it already. At the end of the day, the inside of the cushion isn't really important, is it? Do like a little mark there, and that should be about the size of my cushion. I'm trying to think about it. I'm shoving my cushion into my cushion case. Yeah, I think that's about right. So we'll just cut this. Because I think as well, you have to think about, especially if you're making a cushion, you have to think of it in like a 3D space. So when it's full of stuff, like fluff, it's going to obviously expand. This is going to be a really small cushion. Oh, it's okay though, because the pillowcase, it's fine. I know what I'm doing, I think. Do we think that's going to be too small though? So I'm trying to think about like 3D, once that's full. Obviously you want a little bit of space around it, don't you? For the fabric to I think it'll be okay. I don't want to go too big. If I go too big, I'm not going to be able to fit the cushion into the pillowcase. I know I'm not. I'd rather have too much room than not enough room. And then I just need to create, I need 4 of these at exactly the same size. Okay, that's about right, give or take a centimetre. Also, just looking at the spare, look at all this I bought. Why? Why on earth did I think I needed this much for? I needed this little tiny amount and I bought all of this. Thing is, I've got no room for all of this stuff. Why do I keep buying things?
Anxiety, depression.
Right, I think I'm going to clip all of these together and then I think I'll be ready for sewing. And I'm going to leave one side open because I don't want to sew that side closed yet because it needs stuffing and then I need to sew it.
Well done.
So if I don't clip it, I'll remember not to sew sew it. If I don't clip it, I will sew the entire thing together and be screwed. I'm also hoping this sewing today, this little activity, calms us down a bit because I am so unbelievably chewed. I don't know whether anyone's had this before, where someone's gaslit you, but I've been completely gaslit the other day. So without getting into specific details, someone yesterday basically lied to us, completely flat out lied to us. And anyway, because I had the receipts and I was able to send them and disprove what they said, so I sent this person a screenshot which basically proved that they were lying to us and said, no, you actually said this, you're lying. For them then to message me back saying, no, that's not what I meant. It's like, it is in black and white, you're talking out your ass. I've never known anything like it. This person, by the way, is as subtle as a brick. They are the most passive-aggressive person I think I've ever encountered in my life. They will say certain things that are so kind of like sly and manipulative and kind of like diggy, but they'll word it in a way so that when you call them out on it, they can be like, I didn't mean that. That you're reading into something completely different. I didn't say that. That's not what I meant. And it's like, yes, you did. I'm not stupid. Like, I can see right through you. That's exactly what you meant. And you're not as clever as you think you are. And anyway, to be fair, I usually don't like confrontation.
Lies.
I can't be arsed with confrontation. I've got better things to be worried about and better things to be busy with. But this person took the piss out of us and I had to essentially call them out on it and say, no, this isn't happening anymore. Let's get this sorted because I'm not doing this anymore. I can't be bothered. So it might have been a little bit uncomfortable and really pissed us off, but it needed to be said and I've said it now. And anyway, this morning they've done something very similar and I can just see right through them. Like, I think they think they're very, very clever. Like, no one can see what they're like and see what they're doing. It's like, I can see what you're doing. Like, you're so obvious. You think you're not obvious, but you're ridiculously obvious. So yeah, I'm a little bit chewed, but hopefully sewing they'll sort us out and just calm us down.
Doubt it.
So now I need to get my machine set up. And I'm not going to bore you with trying to set my machine up. I'm still not 100% sure how it all works. I know a little bit, but not a lot. So I'll get this set up and then we'll come back and get ready to sew. We're not setting up the machine in every single video because literally people will unsubscribe. They'll be sick of us. Okay, so I've just been pissing around with this machine for about half an hour because stupidly me, I'd had it already set up from the last time I set it up. And then I was like, oh, you know what'll be a fun idea? While I've got the opportunity and I've got the time, I'll piss around with all these settings and change everything and see what fun stitches I can do. Well, that was a mistake, wasn't it? Because I just buggered the entire machine. So I finally, after some frustrating minutes, managed to get this machine back to where I think it was supposed to be. And to be fair, after pissing around with it a little bit, I feel like I actually learnt a lot. At first, I thought I'd done the bobbin bit wrong because that used to always irritate the life out of us, but I'd done that right. It's the top stitch I'd done wrong, and then I realised it wasn't threaded properly. But I'm not pissing around with the tension or the fancy little different settings it can do. I'm not doing any of that yet. I don't feel like I'm prepared enough for that. I just want basic stitching. So anyway, now that that's happened, I'm ready to sew my pillow. I hope I don't have any more disasters because that nearly sent us over the edge. Right, foot down and we'll get going. Okay, so I've done all of that now. Let's get this foot up. Chop you off. I know this isn't very neat and other sewers will be better than me, but look at that. Look, and you know what? I enjoyed making every second of this. Once the sewing machine started and I was going and I was doing my thing, I just felt like, I don't know, like I was a sewer. I felt like this was my life. Like proper into it. Really enjoyed making this. I know it's nothing, but I'm very proud of the fact that I've just done this. It brings me so much joy when it works and I'm enjoying it. It brings me so much heartache when it all goes wrong and it really pisses us off. So I have very mixed feelings about sewing machines. But anyway, I've got one side open and I've got some, give us 1 second.
It's a bomb!
I've got a giant bag of fluff. This stuff from when I made my sexy candy floss outfit. Oh, even the gloves are sweaty. Gross. I thought I needed all of this to make that outfit and I didn't. I barely needed any of this. So I thought I would use some of this and make my cushions. So we can just get this all stuffed. Oh, hang on a second. Wait, before I do this, that's not right. Get that out. I need to turn this inside out. Nearly forgot. Yes, I need to turn this inside out, then stuff it, and then I can sew it closed. Nearly had a disaster there. I know it's just the inside of the cushion, but I still want it to look nice. Not very square shaped. Okay, mine's not a perfect square, but it's still still, it's still cute. And look how neat that looks now. Oh, right, and now we get to stuff it. That could have been a disaster. I could have ended up with a really ugly inside of a cushion. And now I just need to sew this closed. Do I need to make like a seam or something? Because I just thought this is going to be like really like ugly. Maybe if I sew it and then I could sew back on itself, couldn't I? And kind of sew it underneath itself. I'll just try. I just want to sew it closed for now, and then I'll see if I want to attempt to neaten it up. Okay, that was definitely rough. I know that was rough. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and like do a nice little, oh yeah. Should I try and like hem it? I think this is what you call hemming, isn't it? Or like, I don't know, a seam or something. I just want to neaten it up a bit because that looks shitty. Alright, we'll try that. In fact, I think I might have to pin it. I'm gonna get my clips out because I think I struggled doing that first bit because I didn't have my clips. I don't think I'm that advanced where I can just freehand it and dive straight in. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like literally everyone, I can't believe I'm doing it. I'm using a sewing machine. And I'm like sewing things, like I'm actually sewing physical things that you can use and aren't gonna fall apart within like a matter of minutes. I don't think you realise how much of an accomplishment that is to us. It should be breaking news, it should be broadcast on every news channel. It should be the top story that I'm sewing a pillow. Right, let's get this tidied up a bit. Oh, I'm taking this so seriously, I love it. Oh, what's happened? Don't do that to us. It's okay, it's working, it's fine. Now, how's this looking? It's still a bit like rough. Hang on, look at it at this side. This side, it looks beautiful. Like, that's like just, oh, so cozy and comfy. And I did try and do like a bit of seam work there. I don't really understand how I'm supposed to neaten this up. Maybe if I'd tucked it another time, but I feel like I'm gonna get to the point where I can't actually sew it because it's so thick. But I'm still happy. I'm just gonna cut some of these extra threads off. And at the end of the day, this is just the inside of the cushion, so it doesn't really matter too much. I'm wondering whether I want to do two. What's the time? So it's taken me nearly an hour to make this. And then if I make a second one, obviously I'll do it in a little bit less of time. So possibly half an hour, but then I need to do the actual cover with a zipper. You know what? I'm going to do a second one because I feel like this is good practice too. I'm starting to become one with my sewing machine, and the more I use it, the more I'm going to get better at stuff. Okay, so surprisingly, practice does make perfect, and the last one took me forever to do. This one only took me 15 minutes. And like you can tell, so that one was my first one. You won't be able to tell in person, but it does look a little more kind of rough and not particularly cushion shaped. It's a bit wonky. And then look at my second one. Look how ridiculously neat that is. You'd think you'd bought that from IKEA. Who am I?
Dirty slut.
I'm a cushion making expert. One thing I learned about doing the second one is I think it's really important to really guide your fabric. Like try not to let the sewing machine do it all for you, and try and keep your sewing bits as straight as possible. I think that's really important because before it was just going all over the place. Now I was just letting it. I feel like this is what childbirth's like. This is how proud you get. 2 cushions. I've popped out 2 cushions today. I'm a proper proud man. Right, well, I'm going to celebrate and have some lunch, and then we'll move on to some pillowcases, and hopefully it'll go just as well as what these 2 have gone. I'm going to have to rethread the machine though because I need a different colour. I hate threading the machine. That's the one thing I hate about sewing machines, is threading them. I think it's going to be the bane of my life. I'm getting better at it, but I still can't stand it. Okay, so I'm finally back, and it's time to move on to the cushion covers. And for this, I had an idea, because recently I bought this bedding set that I am absolutely obsessed with, and it's covered in like mushrooms and stuff. It sounds really ugly, and it's the kind of bedding that'll only look right in possibly certain rooms, and obviously certain people's tastes. But I absolutely love it. It feels very kind of dark and moody and comfy, and I like a bedroom to be, I don't know, quite like cuddly and just warm. So I thought I'd make a couple of mushroom pillows to match my bedding. So I bought these 2 fabrics. I've got like a nice dark navy one. Obviously the mushrooms are a little bit cartoony, but I still kind of like it. And then I've also got this turquoise one. And honestly, I absolutely love this pattern. I think it's really fun. If I have enough fabric left over, I'm tempted to make myself some t-shirts. I could totally see this on my body. Look at that. Oh, well fashionable. And I'm basically just going to do exactly the same I did before. I've already cut some fabric out. I've clipped it. It's inside out on both sides. I'm just going to sew around it and leave one side open. And then when we get to the end, when we get to this opening bit, I need to figure out... Oh, the power's gone out. Bear with us 1 second, you cannot see a single thing, and I'll go turn the generator on, and then we can start sewing. Okay, I'm back. And anyone new to the channel, I live off grid, so power cuts are very common, especially in winter time. Believe it or not, we used to have the generator set up so that when the power dipped low enough, the generator would just spark up, and obviously we wouldn't lose power or anything. But for some stupid reason, that got disabled, and the person who actually owns the generator and owns the house, aka my dad, never changed the setting back and refuses to change the setting back. So now when the power dips to a certain level, the power just completely goes out, because that makes complete sense, doesn't it? Another reason, one of like a million reasons I need my own house, is this place does my tits in. Anyway, I'm not gonna get chewed, I'm not gonna get stressed. Got this all clipped, gonna sew it together like I did before, and then once I'm done, I need to figure out how to install a zipper. I don't think that'll be too difficult, but I've never done one before. Okay, that's done. I'm getting so good at this. I really am. That's pretty decent. Are you shitting us? I don't know. I'm tempted to almost make a shortcut and just stuff the cushion into here and sew it together, just in case this all goes wrong. I think that might be my plan B, just in case I can't get the zipper on, because now I need to figure that out, and I don't know how to do it. I have Googled how to do it, but you know what I'm like with instructions. Shit. I'm going to reverse it and do it inside out, and then if it's wrong, and I'll kind of unpick it all and start again. But I think this is right. So what I'm basically doing is I'm going to sew one side of this to the inside of here. So this bit onto here, and then the other bit will go onto that bit. And I think that makes sense. Yes? I hope so. And I'm doing it inside out because I feel like that's correct. Oh, this is tricky. I feel like I should have sewn the zipper on first and then done the rest of it. I think that would have been easier, come to think of it, but never mind. In fact, it'll have been a million times easier. So when I get to the next one, I'm going to do the zipper first, because this is going to be tricky now. Okay, if this is sewn on, it's going to be an absolute miracle. I feel like I really struggled with that. Oh, it's rough. Oh, it's so rough. Also, that's wrong. Look at the state of this. I don't know whether you can see how bad that is stitched. Look at the state of it. But I'm just thinking, is that right or not? Oh, you know what? It is right. It's just going to have a really bad band. I feel like I've done something wrong. That shouldn't look like that on the end, but I don't know how to hide it. I'm just trying to think, how do you sew a zipper on without it looking like shit? I don't even know what a zip looks like anymore. Give us a second, I'm gonna have a look at my jacket. That wasn't helpful because their zipper on my jacket is like hidden. I don't understand where their zipper even attaches to. But we're gonna have a functional zipper, but it's just gonna be a very ugly, just such an ugly thing. I think I'm gonna have to do a bit more research on how to actually install a zipper, because that is rotten. But we'll get the other side on and then see what it's gonna look like. Okay, so I think I've finished that, and honestly, I don't think I've done a very good job. Sewing a zipper is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a piece of piss. I don't know why. It's just really hard. At one point, I wasn't even sewing the zip to the bit of fabric. Oh, this is bad. It's so patchy, like there's holes. Right, let's turn it inside out, see what this is going to look like. Still, I feel like that's a zipper attached to some fabric. I've done that, and let's see if it works. See if it's a functioning zipper. It might not be an aesthetically pleasing zipper, but let's see if it works. Well, what more can you ask for? A functioning... Oh, look at that. There's a huge hole. I'm gonna have to redo that. What's happened? I didn't think it was that bad. Where's that? Right, I'm gonna have to fix that. I can't leave that like that. That's shocking. As if I'm fixing holes. Can you remember back in the day, if like something had a hole or something was a bit knackered, I'd just be like, ah well, tough shit. And now I'm actually going in and fixing things.
Who are you?
You know what? It doesn't look too bad. For my first attempt at sewing a zipper, I think I've done an okay job. I think I could have done a lot worse. Now let me stuff my little cushion in. Oh my god. I could easily sell these. I could 100% sell these. Mark my words, I'm gonna have a cushion shop on Etsy tomorrow selling really poorly made cushions. Can you believe that? Look at that. I have made this from scratch. I've made this from complete scratch. It's a proper cushion. It looks like a cushion. You cannot tell me. What's all that? Oh, that's fine. That's loose. It's okay. It's not actually attached to this. Oh, that is. You cannot tell me if you saw that just randomly, like on a sofa or something, you're not going to be like, oh, who made that? You're going to be like, oh, where did you buy that from? I quite like it. Right, I'm going to do exactly the same I did with the next one, but I'm going to install the zipper first. I think that's where I made a mistake. And see if I can get this tidied up a little bit. It does look really rough. And my second attempt might be even better than this one. Don't know how I can top myself, but I'm going to try.
Ew.
Okay, so I've finished my second cushion, and with this one, I decided to do it a little bit differently, and I've attached the zipper on the outside, and I don't know whether I like it more or I like it less. I don't think I'm supposed to do that. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be on the inside. I don't know how zippers work. For some reason, a zipper looks really simple and easy, and then when you actually try and attach it to anything, it's surprisingly hard. I don't know how you do it. I don't know whether I've done that one right, or whether the last one was right. Let's have a little look. I'm still chuffed that I've done this though, and as we can see, hang on a second, it's fully functioning. Yeah. So there we have it. I've made 2 cushions with zippers. They both work. I can't believe it. So yeah, this one, I don't know whether you're going to be able to see that because it's quite a dark colour. But I've done that on the outside, and I don't know whether this is the right way or whether this is the right way. I feel like this is the right way, just mine looks shit. I feel like it's supposed to be kind of inside rather than kind of flopping on the outside. I feel like this one's neater than this one, but I feel like this one's the correct way to do it. But if anyone has any advice and tips on how to attach zippers to things, let me know in the comments, because obviously I need it. I'm a cushion expert now. I can make cushions. If anyone wants a cushion, feel free to let me know in the comments and I'll make you a cushion, but I can't promise that the zipper will be any good. But I can't believe this, you know. I've done this today. I feel like I've accomplished something. These are 2 cushions. They actually look like cushions as well and operate as a cushion, and I could easily like rest my head on it, and I don't need to worry about something stabbing us or a bit of hot glue falling off it or it all falling apart. These are just like fully operational cushions, and they look so cool. Look at the pattern, and like it's been really fun too. Apart from the zipper part, I hated doing the zipper part, but the rest of it I've actually really enjoyed today. I feel like I've gotten into the hang of sewing a lot more, and even obviously I've had to change the thread for this one into the dark navy thread, so I had to rethread the sewing machine. Honestly, piece of piss. If someone asked me like today or tomorrow, whenever, oh, can you sew the sewing machine for us or show me how to do it, I can actually show you how to thread a sewing machine confidently as well. Not like, oh, I think it's like this. I actually know how to do one. It's finally clicked up here. In college, it just never ever clicked, but now the bobbin doesn't even scare the shit out of us anymore. I know what a bobbin is. I know how it works. I need to give myself more credit for things. I'm actually not too bad at stuff. I sometimes have a way too defeatist attitude, but like, come on, cushions.
Well done.
But anyway, that just about does it for another episode of Sewing Machine Adventures. Yeah! But hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know down in the comments what I should make next. I'm getting proper into this. I feel like it's time I make like a garment, like a proper garment. I'm thinking a t-shirt with possibly a pocket. I know, shocker, a pocket. Who do I think I am?
You dirty slut.
I feel like I can do anything. Apart from obviously like attach a zipper properly to a piece of fabric. Still haven't mastered that. But anyway, I'll see you next week for a brand new video. Oh, you know what? I'm proper happy. I'm really happy with myself. I don't feel scared of the sewing machine anymore. I feel like we're friends. I feel like I've made a friend today with the sewing machine. It doesn't hate us anymore. Oh my god, honestly, I could come.